Logan, thank you for joining us. I can't wait to hear because you have so much going on. What is your why?
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's an interesting question. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I think my my purpose is probably to be a champion of curiosity. And
Hmm.
the way I think about that is, I kind of think of curiosity less as a inborn trait, although sure it is that, and more of something you can cultivate and tap into. And I think it's helpful to frame it against what it is not or what it is the opposite of. So things like apathy, stagnation,
Yeah.
purposelessness. And when you think about, when you're curious or what part of you curiosity occupies, it's really the same space as those things. So if you are curious, if you are in the act of curiosity, you are motivated, you are growing, you are in pursuit of something, and you can't be those other things. You can't be both those things at once. And so, I just think, with my job and my work and even my personal habits, I'm always trying to cultivate curiosity and trying to create things that provoke it and spread it. Uh, and it gives me a great sense of purpose.
So, what are you personally most curious about right now?
Well, the thing I love about curiosity is that answer would change every day. But I mean, I can give you
Right.
an example this morning. Because part of curiosity, right, is like pursuing not because you have so much purpose. It's the pursuit itself is the purpose, not the thing you're trying to pursue. At least, give or take. Nothing wrong with a little structure either. But this morning I went down a really long rabbit hole on the Psyche mission, which is a NASA mission going to an asteroid in the Kuiper Belt named Psyche, and there's a number after it. I think it's Psyche 16, and it's the only accessible example of like a canceled planet. So like a planet like Earth or like one of the other planets was forming, and then something happened, and I'm still curious and trying to figure it out. And basically, it only formed the core. And so by going there, we can learn about the Earth's core, which we cannot learn about on Earth because we can't even come close to reaching the Earth's core. So that's just
Hmm.
like an example, but I find that one to be, I probably will devote several more hours over the course of some days to really digging into that one because I just think it's really neat.
Yeah. And you have a daughter, right?
I have a son. I have a
Oh,
almost
it's a
one and a half
son.
year old son. Yeah, Augie Smalley. Yeah.
Okay. And so, with your son, you cultivate curiosity and have actually worked on projects with him, right?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, like the childlike wonder part of curiosity, it's never in sharper focus than with a toddler, right? I think we can all feel that kind of escaping us as we get old and jaded and cynical and all that stuff. And so, yeah, one of the most beautiful things about having our first child is I can actually you don't have to like curiosity is contagious. Like this is scientifically validated. To be around curious people makes you more curious, and all the upside things of curiosity tend to transfer across people. So being around toddlers or being around curious adults, like grown-up toddlers like us, right? Like you strike me as a curious person, is great. And I think especially, as far as culture at a workplace or anywhere else, I think like it's almost intuitive if you imagine 100 employees or 50 employees or 5,000 employees on a journey pursuing something that they're curious together. It's instantly feels like a much more fun and great place to work where you have that in common with each other versus the opposite of that, which are some of those things we said earlier, which are stagnation and purposelessness and burnout, right? Like those things happen in the absence of engaged curiosity. And yeah,
Right.
sure, more toddlers.
More curious toddlers,
That's
because
right.
what becomes possible when the children of this generation are curious, and then where are they going to take us, right? And I mean, I've got to imagine that is some of what motivated TED Ed. And can you tell us the story of how that became? I mean, the seed that was planted in the beginning that turned into what is TED Ed today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking about that. Yeah, so I'm the founding director of TED Ed. The way that TED Ed came about, oh, I should say at the top, TED is very famous for TED Talks. TED Talks are an iconic talk format. I don't work on the TED Talks, give or take. I am involved in those work streams. TED Ed, which I think many people will have seen, are the animated videos that TED makes and that my team makes. So we work with the same, set of awesome educators. They might have given a TED talk, they might not have, and then uh, we basically refine their expertise into an angle that's worth making a 5-minute video around. We write a script, we lock that script, and then we take that script and have a professional voice actor record it and a professional animator vivify it. And the explanatory power and the narrative power of being able to write it and animate it and add music and sound effects is, to stay on topic, like the absolute assault on trying to provoke curiosity in someone. You get to write the first 20 seconds and make sure that, one or more profound questions bloom in the viewer's brain after pressing play on the thing. And then if that works, then you're keeping them for the remaining 5 minutes, and they're actually leaving the video more curious and wanting to learn more if the video did what it was designed to do. That's not to say that the video doesn't transfer some amount of knowledge and help you learn something and grow from where you were when you started the video. But we often say like our most successful videos are the ones that by the end make you want to close your computer screen or turn off your phone and actually read an entire book about the topic, right? Because you can only do so much in 5 minutes. To how TED Ed started, I was actually a TED Fellow before I worked at TED. I got that honor for being a documentarian, nonprofit documentary that I made and that had some success. And I was recognized for that work and invited to come to the TED conference to give a talk about the documentary. And then also when you're a TED Fellow, you're invited to pitch a project in hopes of becoming a TED Senior Fellow. And so having been a documentarian and having been an educator, I had been a special education high school teacher at that point. I sort of pitched a project based on my love of those two things, teaching and filmmaking. And I called it TED Ed. And they said, great idea, bad timing. And then we were kind of in a discussion pattern for a year or so. And then they said, great idea, great timing, and asked me to come and start TED Ed. And here we are a decade later. We've made about, I think, 2,400 of those animated shorts that you may or may not have seen, your viewers. And they've been viewed by learners over 5 billion times. So really, really successful content format. And I can say that without sounding too braggy, even though I am very proud of my team and all the amazing artists and people we work with. But it really is a platform of incredible experts in their fields getting paired with incredible artists, animators, and like I said, musicians, sound effects artists, and then distributing it mostly on YouTube, TED.com, social media, etc. Used in the classroom, but also used outside of the classroom.
So the audience is different than the typical TED Talks that people know about, right?
Yeah, I think the way that I think about it is actually that we spend a lot of effort trying to make the content evergreen and accessible the same way like Shrek's audience is kids, but we all enjoy Shrek when we see it with our kids. So we spend a lot of time making sure there's layers to where any age group can access. So I think of it as the same as the TED audience, which is, roughly college and above, but also younger. So I think probably 13 to 35 would be where the vast majority of this 5 billion views happened. And it's global too, by the way.